Ladies and gentlemen, you are about to witness history in the making. Here at the new Smyrna Speedway, the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour is about to come unleashed off turn number 4. They head to the line. Green and racing here at New Smyrna.
Their pole sitter outside lane. Matt Hirschman decided to start up top, but Ryan Priest in old blue, number 3, works the bottom, settles into second. Third car in line, that's a 2-time Stafford Motor Speedway track champion in the SK Modified division. Ronnie Williams driving the 50 tonight.
Ronnie Williams setting back in that third position. He pulls it back in the line. Nobody is pulling out of line. Meanwhile, here comes the 79 machine. That is John McKennedy. McKennedy was so strong in practice, and right behind him, no surprises here, is the number 22 car of Bonsignor.
One of the things that you'll hear throughout the broadcast tonight is conserve your equipment. These southern racetracks are very abrasive when it comes to tires. They're running a softer tire compound this year. They said that the 79 of John McKennedy is very good because he's got a lot of experience in the modified racing series and races that you can't change tires in. He's good at conserving his equipment, running in the 4th position in the 79 right now, trying not to be too aggressive in the early laps.
You know, one thing we know about Matt Hirschman is he knows how to save his equipment. Meanwhile, top 4 cars run nose to tail. Meanwhile, Priest takes a peek to the outside. It doesn't work. He'll pull back into line. They look like a conga line as they come off turn number 4, back down into the turn. Leader of the pack still remains Hirschman. Ronnie Silk, the regular runner, a 2-time champion at Stafford. Here comes Priest up on the outside.
Priest goes to the outside lane. A couple of the drivers we talked to earlier today said you've got to be able to pass on the outside. A little bit easier to do that in turns 1 and 2, but Hirschman is just so smooth on that end of the racetrack. He's not giving Ryan Priest any advantage to the outside lane. You see Priest in that 3 car, he enters in high trying to roll the top and carry that momentum down into turn 1.
While he's doing that in the call before you dig number 3 car, we'll head back and take a look at John McKennedy, the white and black number 79 car. That time we saw Ronnie slip up the number 50 car, slip up the racetrack of Ronnie Williams. Off the turn, they come back to the line. Here comes John McKennedy. Bonsai move to the inside of turn number 1. Rim rides, John McKennedy is up to the 3rd spot, back to the front, bid for the lead.
Here's Ryan Priest now working to the inside in that number 3. These cars do have Nerf bars on the side to protect those open wheels, but you got to be really careful. It's not like a super late model or a late model we can go in and just slide door handle to door handle. Priest didn't have the room to make it work that time, had to roll out of the throttle, and just that little bit of burp of the throttle, he loses 2 to 3 car lengths on the race leader, Matt Hirschman.
Maybe that was part of the strategy because all of a sudden he starts to reel him in. Here comes Justin Bonsignor, car 51, the Phoenix Communication car, all over the Stewart Automotive, number 7 New York. That's the rookie of Michael Christopher.
Of course, Christopher, the nephew of the legendary Ted Christopher, TC, 9-time World Series Speedway champion here at New Smyrna Speedway, legendary driver in NASCAR modified competition in that 7 New York. And of course, the driver, the owner of that car, Tommy Baldwin, a former championship winning crew chief of the Daytona 500. That was 20 years ago when Ward Burton, I should say, won the Great American Race. There's a lot of power backing that 7 New York.
There certainly is. And look a little further back at that number 32 car of Tyler Ripkema. Ripkema in the Musco Lighting Northern Drilling car. He is starting to, try to close up the gap on the Phoenix number 51. Meanwhile, Michael Christopher, when they unloaded that car, they weren't happy with it, but Baldwin worked throughout the afternoon to make Michael feel comfortable. And that's exactly what he's doing. Meanwhile, here's the number 2 of J.R. Bertuccio. And Bertuccio currently was a surprise in qualifying and practice today because their teammate car number 21, driven by Jimmy Valuit, had to struggle just a bit.
Yeah, that's been a challenge for both the 2 and the 21. Taking a look here at the battle, that's Kyle Bonsignor in the number 22, one of the new changes this season. He's got a new crew chief in the form of Cam McDermott. They qualified pretty well, running right now in the 5th spot as he tries to work to the inside. Meanwhile, lap traffic becoming a factor as Matt Hirschman and Ryan Priest both work around the outside of Melissa Fifield.
Melissa Fifield drops to the inside of the racetrack. Now the margin between 1st and 2nd is kind of picked up just a bit. But that's not the story further back. As meanwhile, Michael Christopher has closed up the gap on the number 22 machine. the Cam McDermott prepared race car for Kyle Bonsignore.
Mike Christopher has not had that many races in this 7 New York, but for some reason he and Tom Baldwin really hit it off. And you saw the chemistry right away. Of course, the track that you announce at weekly as the voice of the staff at Smyrna Speedway. A very quick relationship, and all of a sudden those guys were holding the trophy at the end of the day. So keep an eye on that 7 New York. Michael Christopher Jr., very talented race car driver. And of course, it's in that Christopher pedigree that we were talking about just a few moments ago. But how about last year's champion? Justin Bonsignore in that 51, currently riding in the 7th position just outside your frame, right behind Michael Christopher. That's a guy that Ryan Stone, the crew chief, Justin Bonsignore have always been very crafty. They are always good at racetracks just like this with high banks, and especially when the pit strategy comes into play, and that's going to be a major factor tonight.
It certainly is, and you have to remember that Bonsignore has run here before at New Smyrna. And if you go back into the record books, even though Michael Christopher is a youngster, he is also the son and nephew of the legendary Ted Christopher, his dad, Mike Christopher. They had a lot of laps on this racetrack. So that 7 New York teamed up with Baldwin. The Stewart Automotive machine is really being more than just competitive this early in the event. Here comes Rip Kima now. All of a sudden, Bonsignore tries a different strategy to the bottom of the inside of the racetrack. Back up front, like it's a Sunday afternoon drive. It is Hirschman who continues to hit his marks each and every time by. Priest is running in his tire tracks, but meanwhile, a little further back, keep your eyes, because the bottom of the top 10, Joe, that's where the action's starting to get heated up.
Yeah, some great action directly behind this battle that we watch on the right side of your screen between Justin Bonsignore and Tyler Ripkema in that number 32 machine. Tyler's entering his 3rd season on the tour, and he's had a pretty good couple of runs so far, was top 10 in the championship points at the end of last season, and he thought that this year with that couple of years of experience, and it takes that with modified racing, with teams that have been around for a long time, to be able to figure out how to make these cars work.
They certainly do, and he started out with very good equipment and very qualified people, and I think that's made a tremendous difference in that program itself.
Watching the 22, Kyle Bonsignore looking to the inside of Ronnie Williams as they work up off the turn. This is a battle for the 4th spot, back into turn number 3. Bonsignore, who actually, it's funny because he's a Matco Tools or Snap-on Tools, one of the two. I have to get that
Snap-on.
right. But
it's Snap-on.
Snap-on Tools dealer actually lives in the Midwest. This race car is kept in Connecticut. Cam McDermott, who stepped in as a crew chief here this year, and they thought that they found something in Cam McDermott, and based on what we've seen here early on in the first 25 laps, it looks like they have.
They certainly have. And, you know, you look back in the record books, Cam McDermott was a 3-time champion at the Thompson Speedway. Before, he worked with Woody Pitkat as a spotter, also worked with Woody Pitkat all season long, another outstanding competitor on the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Meanwhile, Williams, a car prepared by Adam Scavora. Williams told me earlier today in the paddock area that he wanted one thing, his first victory on the Whelen Modified Tour. And he felt more comfortable in that race car today, Joe, than he has ever felt behind the wheel of that car.
Yeah, that should put the rest of the field on notice. I mean, they are aware of what Ronnie Williams has been able to do. He's a very accomplished race driver. He's won open tour type modified shows. And today he's hoping to be able to cash in on the big check today. With $115,000 of posted awards for the event, the winner will make more than $14,000 when the checker flag flies tonight.
And don't forget, there's a lot of bonus money being provided by FloRacing, and it's all from you, the race fans, who are tuning in and watching this program and all the events of this type. Tyler Ripkema now tries to close up the gap, but the Ryan Stone prepared Phoenix number 51 for the 3-time champion continues to run to the bottom of the racetrack. Here comes Ripkema, looks to the inside, car loosens up a bit, coming off turn number 2 and down the back straightaway. On entry, Ripkema can close up the gap. As he steps on the gas, he reels him in. Little cat and mouse action, Joe, as they head back to turn 1.
What Tyler gains on corner entry, he's giving up on corner exit. This time he works to the bottom. This is one of those racetracks where you've got to take a lap or two to set somebody up. You're not just going to be able to pull to the inside and go by somebody. You've got to tee that up over the course of a couple of laps. And right now, when you're trying to get by a 3-time
Here's the
champion,
move.
It's not going to be easy, but Ripkema pulls out a line, goes to the bottom.
Trouble. We just noticed some smoke coming off the 51
and he
car.
is pulling off to the inside lane. your defending champion, Justin Bonsignor, is slow to the bottom, and he is coming down pit road.
There's no question about it. All of a sudden, we saw a puff of smoke come from beneath the Ryan Stone prepared car. And there's the story, perhaps, of the start of the season.
Boy, certainly wouldn't have drawn this one up. Justin Bonsignor, the 51, on pit road. He's making his way all the way down pit road to the attention of the crew. We'll see what happens. Ben, the crew very slow. I know you can't see it for those watching at home, but the crew very slow, not even going over the wall, taking their time, nothing happening. And that's never a good sign for the 51 of Justin Bonsignor.
But as we shift our attention back to the front of the field, the margin between first and second, the BD Motorsports number 60. This is a gentleman who's won so many titles. They called him Big Money Matt. He'll run the Whelen Modified Tour, the open shows, or wherever there's big money. And Ryan Preece, they thought that Preece would not even be able to maintain a ride for the 2022 season when all of a sudden Preece put together this package. Interesting story. We talked about it earlier today. Ryan Preece says, they might think I'm a cup driver, but in reality, I always refer to myself as a modified driver. That's where my roots was. Here's a bid down low. Ripkema tested the waters, couldn't do it.
Yeah, that car is really good. I wouldn't have thought that the 51 of Justin Bonsignor was holding up Tyler Ripkema, but he is pulled right up to the back bumper of Kyle Bonsignor, cousin of Justin Bonsignor. There you see.
There to the left.
Under the hood, Justin Bonsignor already has the helmet off and looking to climb out of that race car. But boy, we did see that puff of smoke out the left bank when they were racing for position. And wow, tough break for the two-time defending champion, three-time overall champion in the Modified Tour.
And there you saw one of the crew members, and Justin is getting out of the race car. Dejected for sure. Back to the front of the field. Good battle still shaping up right there. All of a sudden, your third car in that train of cars is the 58, the GAF number 58 of Eric Goodale. Now, Goodale has had success here in New Smyrna. That's the Riverhead Building Supply sponsored race car. And meanwhile, they come back up on traffic, Joe. To the left side of our screen, there's the leader and heavy traffic, and that has closed up the gap between first and second because all of a sudden the three-car Preece is starting to move in as he moves alongside the lapped automobile of Jeremy Gertzner.
And Chris Young in the 49, they'll work to the outside lane. So Matt Hirschman running up high all of a sudden has a mirror full of Ryan Preece in that number 3. Look at Preece dime in the corner in turns 1 and 2. Perfect. Tries to pull to the inside lane, but look at the straightaway speed that Matt Hirschman has by rolling the top. So Preece gave up a little bit there, but you know, Ryan Preece is really good. You saw it right there. He's got this talent, innate ability to pitch a car sideways and get it pointed straight. Watch him go high here. You see him pitch it sideways right there. And look at what he gains. That is his specialty.
We've got Melissa Byfield's car. And it looks like that's going to bring out the first caution of the event. The Pine Knoll auto sales machine. As Melissa Byfield gets it fired back up. But the first caution comes out. Now on the inside, apparently, it is Hirschman who's going to stay to the outside. Row number 2, John McKennedy coming to the front as they come off 4.
They work through that restart zone, and Matt Hirschman away and running. An outstanding start for Hirschman. He'll clear Ryan Preece by the time they get to turns 1 and 2. The battle is going to be for third. McKennedy trying to stick a wheel to the bottom, but you go a little bit further back. Here comes the 7 New York of Michael Christopher Jr. He's battling with the 22 of Kyle Bonsignor.
They come off turn number 4, down the front straightaway. Top 3 cars run nose to tail. Then they're side by side. McKennedy puts the 79 into the top 4. The LFR car setting in the 4th position. Meanwhile, there's the 22 setting there for Kyle Bonsignor, and he's being pressured heavily. Michael Christopher is stuck on the inside with the Stewart's Automotive machine. Outside lane, like a conga line, moves quickly to the top side of the racetrack. Here comes Goodale, Joe. He's going to make a bid down under Bonsignor.
Yeah, white, red, and black, number 58 is Eric Goodale out of Riverhead, New York. Longtime runner of the Whelen Modified Tour, several wins in the races that he's won. They have been big wins, including some of the biggest races at Stafford Speedway. A little bit deeper in the field, the 07 on the right side of your screen, Patrick Emmerling was another driver who did not qualify very well. Patrick has stepped up to become a NASCAR Xfinity Series owner now and has run a couple of those races, but he said, I want to go back after this in modified racing. Here's Kyle Ebersole in the 5, off the pace-off 2.
He went way up wide in the turn, gathered it back, but he is definitely off the pace here today. Meanwhile, let's take a look at that battle. And now, all of a sudden, we haven't talked much about the 82. That's the Danny Watts car of Craig Lutz. This is a team that came together late in the 2021 season. And Lutz now with car 82. That's the orange car running in the tire tracks of the Baldwin number 7 car of Michael Christopher. Lutz takes a peek down low. It doesn't pay off. The 34 of J.B. Fortin right there behind him. Good run for him. And there is Patrick Emmerling working his magic as they continue to run nose to tail back off turn 2.
Yeah, both those two cars we were talking about, not only the 82 of Craig Lutz, he started in 14th. Eric Goodale, we were talking about a few minutes ago, he started in 13th. Those two drivers have worked their way up through the field pretty nicely. We are now 55 laps into tonight's New Smyrna Visitor Bureau 200 here for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour season opener. 200 laps on the docket. There's your race leader, Matt Hirschman, on the left-hand side. We've got the 3 of Ryan Preece running right there. Ronnie Williams in 3rd, John McKennedy, and now Eric Goodale from the 13th spot has made it up inside the top 5.
He certainly has, and we have 56 laps completed in the record books in this 200-lap event. Hirschman has been the dominant car, but the tail that wags the dog here is Ryan Preece. Preece, again, can reel him in. He can run right there with him, but not enough. He's testing the water, so Joe, here comes Ryan Preece.
Preece, one of the only cars to try to run to the bottom lane of the racetrack. Doesn't like to stay down there too often. This time, Hirschman in turns 3 and 4 will try to protect that. Battle for 3rd. John McKennedy has racing room to the inside of Ronnie Williams, but Williams able to fend off the challenge, at least for now.
Williams continues to guard the spot. Here comes McKennedy, and right there is Goodale. Williams up on the wheel in the outside lane. All of a sudden, John McKennedy dives to the inside. McKennedy picks up the spot. The door opens, and here comes Eric Goodale. Now that is going to shuffle the 50 car back. Lapped automobile, Melissa Byfield creates a problem which could have given Eric Goodale the opportunity to pick up 2 spots.
Yeah, Goodale has to fall back in line. He'll settle into 5th. Still early in this one, though. I mean, plenty of time to sort it out. But Eric Goodale maybe didn't have the best qualifying setup earlier today when we were doing that around dusk this evening. The racetrack obviously a lot different. The air temperature has cooled down a little bit. Still a lot of heat in the racetrack from the Florida sun. Crew Chief Jason Shepard certainly made the right call so far. Be able to get that car rolling early on in this 200-lapper.
There's no question out in front. It is still Matt Hirschman who continues to set an even pace. Here comes Goodale. He's making a bid. Goodale drives to the inside of Williams, and that is the battle for the 4th position. Good battle there. Goodale digging deep on the bottom. GAF among the sponsors. Riverhead Building Supply. Remember this driver in the Battle of the Beach, and he has won before on the Whelen Modified Tour. As he pulls it back into line in formation, now tests the waters again. Williams car, the number 50 machine, up the hill. And that's the Empire Financial Advisory car. And now, Williams does that crossover, but it doesn't work.
Goodale, a very strong race car in that number 58 Riverhead Building Supply GAF Roofing Modified. Able to slide his way into the top 4 now. And continues to open up that advantage over Williams. He's got some distance to go on McKennedy, but you know, we've watched a lot about Matt Hirschman, Ryan Preece. We haven't talked about anybody else so far at the front. But John McKennedy is starting to reel in the race leaders. Look at the gap there. Now 2 car lengths separate each of them. So McKennedy, one of the favorites coming in, starting to close in at the back of Ryan Preece.
You know, right from the start, the very first practice session of the day, the number 79 machine of John McKennedy came right out of the wrappers, moved to the top of the board, and everybody, there was a buzz in the paddock area over the fact that they thought but Kennedy was going to be the guy to beat, and it certainly looks like he brought his A game.
During the practice session today, I stood at the inside of turn number 1, and I watched to see who was driving it deepest into the number 1 turn. And John McKennedy was lifting about a car length later than everybody else, including the 2 drivers he's chasing, Matt Hirschman and Ryan Preece. He was aggressive getting in, and you can see right there that he's much better on that end of the racetrack.
Certainly is, and of course, that's his strategy. Remember, he came from super modified racing. He's not afraid to throw the car in at a ton. And of course, this car with the LFR chassis, going back to the fall race at the Thompson Speedway, John McKennedy had the quickest car on the racetrack. The Middlesex machine was strong then, and it looks even stronger today. Heavy lap traffic in front of the leader. Will it be a factor? It's the number 49 machine that is right there, and that is Chris Young. Young dies to the bottom. Preece trying to make a bid for it, but it doesn't happen. To the right of your screen, 3-car battle. Car number 82, Craig Lutz, also was one of those competitors that came from the 14th starting position with Danny Watts' race car. A lot of great drivers have driven for Danny Watts over the years, but they were most pumped up and excited about the fact that they had this driver in their car for the 2022 season. There's Preece again. But look at McKennedy. You know, Joe, it appears that McKennedy can almost change his line anytime he wants. Is he can run the high side, but here's a bid for the lead. First lead change. They come back to the line. At the stripe, it is still Matt Hirschman. But there's Preece again, down low.
Well, Preece is looking up ahead. He sees Ken Hagee in that number 18 in the preferred line that Matt Hirschman wants. He'll use Hagee as a pick, go down to the bottom lane of the racetrack, and Matt Hirschman now settles back into second. So new leader here on lap number 74.
Here comes John.
Ryan Preece out in front. John McKennedy now working down to the inside lane. You know, McKennedy can put his car where he wants. Matt Hirschman, he's been running that second to middle groove of the racetrack all night long.
He certainly has, and he just doesn't seem to give up. Here comes McKennedy now. Lap traffic becomes a factor and a pick in all of this. And the car they're coming up on is J.R. Bertuccio. That's the white number 2, the Gershaw recycling machine. So there's a lap automobile, and here comes Matt Hirschman. Trying to sneak to the bottom, they almost touch.
Bertuccio's been loose off the turn all day long. He got a little bit loose there. That allows Hirschman to go to the bottom, but look at all the ground he gained here on Super Bowl weekend. He's about a football field behind Ryan Preece at this point in time. Now John McKennedy gets hung up behind the 2. And that allows Eric Goodale in the number 58 to come in and challenge to the bottom. Bertuccio sideways right in front of the 3rd place car.
There's no question about it. Goodale put that car on the yellow line at the bottom of the racetrack. You can't run any lower than that. Picked up the spot, and car number 58 has moved into the 3rd position. And I don't think Goodale is done yet. Lap traffic still to the outside. Bertuccio. Here comes Michael Christopher. Meanwhile, another bid for it. Here comes John McKennedy working his magic as he tries to get around Dave Zapienza in the Grasso Brothers number 36 car.
Zapienza a little bit off the pace as they came up off turn number 2. Off camera, a couple of other cars that were slow, including the 07 of Patrick Emmerling. He had a little bit of a jingle, and they were going backwards. But how about the 7 New York now starting to move in as he challenges the back of John McKennedy just outside the top 5.
There's no question about it. The Stewart's automotive machine. Remember, Kevin Stewart used to own the race team that Ronnie Silk drove, and then decided he would sell everything, and all of a sudden he puts his name on the back of Tom Baldwin's race car, and it's running racy. Meanwhile, Ronnie Williams continues to try to hold off the opposition of the number 32 car of Tyler Ripkema. That's happening on the left side of your screen. Now go to the right side, and all of a sudden, car number 82 has been passed. That is the Frank Lutz, Danny Watts race car by the number 54 for the Catalano team.
On the left side of your screen there a moment ago was a battle for 3rd, 4th, and 5th. Just behind them, Ronnie Williams, 6th and 7th, trying to hold off against Tyler Ripkema. Here is the battle for the third position. Now, Michael Christopher Jr. finding some life as we go a little bit deeper into the run. He draws even with Eric Goodale through turns 3 and 4, and he'll slide up ahead and take over what is actually the fourth position. And now we'll try to pursue John McKennedy in the 79.
That is the Florida Connection car, running very strong for Michael Christopher. The Narducci family, Greg and Vanetta, big supporters of a lot of people. Vanetta passed away from cancer, so Greg decided that he still wanted to be active involved. There's the story now, up front. The 79, now all of a sudden here comes Christopher. Christopher's got a car on rails running the bottom, and the number 7 machine moves into the third position with 85 laps now complete.
Now Hirschman's starting to fall back. This is going to be a pass that's going to put him into 5th. And here comes Tommy Catalano. That's going to move him back to 6th. So Matt Hirschman, you know, not unusual to see Matt Hirschman fade away a little bit, get some tires and come back. He knows there's really nothing to gain right now, but put this back in the memory bank. A little bit later on the race, if we get some short runs, some late race cautions, Matt Hirschman, we know he's good on the short run, and that could pay off at the end.
Certainly could. Good run for the 54 car of Tommy Catalano. That's the FC Caprera machine, the power construction car. He's had some great runs here in the extra distance, the Richie Evans Memorial events here at the new Smyrna Speedway, as we are just shy, 87 laps now up on the board. Now all of a sudden, Greg Lutz decides to get back into the hunt. He works his magic, follows the 58, which is currently shown among the top 5 position. So the 82 is now in the 6th position. Side-by-side battle, story is still the same. Matt Hirschman continues to fade, but will that be the story if a late event caution could change all of this? Brilliant run for Michael Christopher. Really turning some heads here. There's John McKennedy, as now Christopher's all over him. And McKennedy, pick and choose time as he moves down underneath the number 49 of Young.
Yeah, he has to snake his way through off turn number 2. What's impressive about what Michael Christopher Jr. is doing here tonight, he's currently running in the 3rd position out on track. He had never seen this racetrack until a couple of weeks ago. They came on and did a little bit of testing. That was the first time he came down here. Now he's having a very strong run. Of course, we talked about the success of Ted Christopher here, but Tiger Tom Baldwin has won the World Series of Speedway Racing here from a championship standpoint 3 years in the mid-90s. So we know the Baldwin team knows how to get around this racetrack too.
Sure did. He came here with his dad as a youngster, and that team was one of the strongest teams in the early days here at the new Smyrna Speedway. Meanwhile, Catalano continues to try to close up the gap. That's the 54 car. Very strong race car, and not surprising, then a little further back, we see another good battle about to shape up. Heavy traffic up ahead. It is a side-by-side battle between the 49 and one of the rookies, the Polar Beverage Machine. We haven't talked much about them, and that is Buddy Charette. Buddy Charette finished 2nd to Keith Rocco in the 300 at Thompson during World Series weekend, and everyone was quite surprised. Local hometown kid that lives right down the street from Thompson Speedway, showing his talent and ability with that Polar-sponsored race car. Ripkema is right there with him, and then don't count out the car that's right there alongside. That's the number 22. But back towards the left of your screen, keep your eyes on Catalano with that number 54 car.
Catalano having a pretty quiet run to be able to slide inside the top 5. This is a family team, a family operation out of upstate New York, running full-time in the Whelen Modified Tour this season. You know, not really surprising to see him run well on a long run like this, because he's had good days at racetracks when you see a lot of green flag racing. He knows how to run at the longer run, and we'll see if that plays out as this race continues on. But there's a caution on the racetrack up in turns 1 and 2. One car down to the inside lane. I think it's Matt Kimball in the Mendoza-owned Modified that has brought that caution out. His car pointed in the wrong direction, just to the inside of turn number 2. There you see it. He'll get that spun back around and we'll get underway. So Ben, we talked about how the strategy of this race plays out. We figured there'd be a caution around lap 40. Well, there was.
Yes.
Now it's lap 97. What will they do? Here's the question mark that I have is who comes for fuel on this stop, or who comes from tires, or do they come down pit road twice? Once for tires, once for fuel, and we see 2 pit stops here. First car off pit road will come on down and be the next car out onto the racetrack.
And as that is happening, we cross the stripe and 100 laps are now in the record book.
So pit road is open. First car in is going to be the 3 of Ryan Preece. And you see the crew go to work around the right side. You can see on our camera the different lugs, how wide they are on that left front. You see the crew going to work on the right side. Most everybody is on pit road. Remember, you can take tires or fuel only, and it looks like it's going to be a lot of tires rather on this stuff.
And take note, car number 16, the Bill Moran car for Ronnie Still. Remember, that was the car that took fuel at the last caution. This time, they're changing tires. Let's see how quickly he gets out. Car number 16 is already heading back out. Meanwhile, Michael Christopher, the number 7, good pit stop for them, along with Goodale, along with Craig Lutz, all coming out and gaining some valuable time on the racetrack.
And now look what's happening. Go to turns 3 and 4. We saw the race leaders go down pit road. They are coming right back. If you took tires the last time, you're going to take fuel this time because you can't do both on the same pit stop. So pit road, a very, very busy place. And we'll all need some help sort out who's going to be the race leader by the time they get
we were
through this.
talking about before the number 60 car of Matt Hirschman and how it had faded after being so strong early in the event. Hirschman's car is in, right rear tire is being put on. The 3 is back in, fuel is the story, just as we called it. But keep your eyes, Hirschman's car, right rear. Now Preece makes it back out. Now a right front on the number 60 car. Preece gets out, and right behind him is the number 60 machine. Car number 18, also Ken Heggie. Good pit stop as well. Meanwhile, the number 07, Patrick Emmerling. We haven't talked much about him. They are changing right side rubber, and it seems to be the story of the right side, right front, right rear. No, Emmerling almost came in contact with the number 26 car of Gary McDonald on pit road.
And he had a stop at the end of pit road. Well, the starting or the running order has changed quite a bit after a very eventful round of pit stops. We will update you on the running order when we come back to New Smyrna. Ronnie Silk only had to take 3 tires. That gave him the track position and the race lead for the first time tonight.
It sure did, and that pit strategy is going to make all the difference in the world. As $114,000 plus is on the line as we are about ready to get him fired back up off turn number 4. Car number 24 to the inside, Andrew Krause, but it is Ronnie Silk who chose the upper lane. While that was happening just as we went to green, the 64 car of Austin Beers made its presence known. That's the Ron Newhouse prepared car that Mike Murphy owned. He's up on the top side of the racetrack. Meanwhile, it is still car 16 for Silk, the leader. And now John McKennedy making some magic as McKennedy back up to second. And he is like a man possessed.
Ronnie Silk out in front in that number 16, the Hyde Yanone racing team. Ironically enough, this team races out of the same shop that Doug Kobe ran his operation in. Mike Smiriglio ran his operation in. And now they are leading this race here in New Smyrna. Meanwhile, Trouble, the 64 of Austin Beers, out of shape and nearly collected the outside wall. He was running 6th. Now he's backpedaling up there in the outside lane, dropping that white car at the top of your frame. Got out of shape, he roped it back in, and he's still within the top 10.
He certainly is. He's still trying to maintain and stay there. Here's another good battle. Ebersol, car number 5, the red 5, applying the pressure to the number 82 machine of Craig Lutz. Meanwhile, Emmerling, stuck in traffic in the upper groove, pulls out of line there. Here comes Craig Lutz, that number 82 car. That's a battle at the bottom of the top 10. Meanwhile, here comes Matt Hirschman, car number 60, starting to pick them off one at a time. 111 laps into the record books here at the New Smyrna Speedway.
Matt Hirschman, though, back in the 15th spot after that round of pit stops. Meanwhile, battle for third, Andrew Krause. His family operates the Wall Stadium in New Jersey. Mike Christopher Jr., he's trying to work a lane to the inside. Doesn't have space. He'll have to fall back in line there. So the left side of your screen, the race leaders. The right side of your screen, the bottom half of the top 10. Good battles everywhere. Here's Christopher going to the bottom of turn 3.
Christopher makes the move down underneath Krause. Here comes Priest. He's looking to the high side. They work their magic to the bottom of turn number 1. Here comes the Florida Connection machine. It is the Stewart's Automotive car. Car number 7 moves in to the 3rd position. Meanwhile, here comes Ryan Priest on the bottom. Car number 3. The call before you dig machine is digging in hard, and Priest now sees an opening down underneath Michael Christopher.
Looks for 3rd up off turn number 2. Priest in that number 3. Ran the last 3 seasons the NASCAR Cup Series. Will be a fill-in reserve driver for Stewart Haas Racing this season. Was actually at the Clash last weekend at the LA Memorial Coliseum. Qualified for the main event. Now he's back in his home track field. That number 3 Old Blue Modified open wheel competition for Priest.
115 laps have just clicked off on the scoreboard here at the new Smyrna Speedway, and there's action wherever you look on this racetrack. Christopher still trying to hold off the pressures being applied by the number 3 of Ryan Priest. That's the battle for the 3rd and the 4th position.
What makes this car even more special, Ben, is there are 2 cars in the field that are home-built race cars. Every other car in the field, other than Ryan Priest and Dylan Slepian, are cars that were bought from a chassis manufacturer, not this number 3 car, built by the Bowler family. That's been the tradition. That's one of the things that makes modified racing so unique, and they are still able to run strong. Many, many wins in this Old Blue number 3 with a lot of the most historic and recognizable names in NASCAR modified competition.
Well, it appeared that Priest just dipped down to the inside, couldn't do it, pulled it back into the line in formation here. Krause is behind him. Ripkema is also making his presence known. That's the white and black yellow numeral number 32 car. Behind that car, it is Ebersol, the red number 5. But just as you think Priest has closed in and is starting to make ways on Michael Christopher, all of a sudden Priest is being forced to lap traffic to the inside. Buddy Charette, the Polar Beverage car. Directly in front of him is the number 20 car of Eddie McCarthy out of Brick, New Jersey.
One of the things that I've noticed about Priest in this race is that when he's going to go by a car that's equal in speed, he works lap traffic to his advantage better than some of the other cars out on track. And I think he was waiting for that opportunity there to see if he can find some space around Michael Christopher. Meanwhile, left side of your screen, that's the battle between the top 2. Ronnie Silk, silver number 16. New ride for him this year. New car ownership in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. One of those car owners, Joe Yanone, along with Tyler Height, spoke with Joe earlier today. He says, we've won small, but here, we're here to win big. And
yes,
that's what they came for, and they're doing that right now out in front, 122 laps into 200. They're in the second half of this race. They're leading right where they want to be.
They certainly are. And John McKennedy continues to apply the pressure in that battle there as well. Meanwhile, the 24 of Krause continues to be very consistent and very strong. Ebersol's car number 5, loosens up just a bit coming off the turn. That could be a little bit of a problem for him. Here comes the number 58 of Goodale, now down underneath Austin Beers with that number 64 car.
Really impressive by 2 runs put together by Andrew Krause in that number 24 car, Tyler Ripkema in that number 32 car. You know, those are 2 drivers you don't typically see in the top 5 and 6 positions in the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Meanwhile, trouble, turn 4, caution is out. A couple of cars got together, everybody able to continue on.
And we should mention again, the caution comes out with 124 laps up on the scoreboard here. And we talked about this earlier, Joe, strategy. We talked about the first stop, how important that would be. The second stop, and now the third spot. The third stop making it a run to the finish. And who will take home the big payday offered here today. Ladies and gentlemen, they're doubled up. Get ready. The best is yet to come. Things get heated up, 1:30 and counting here at the new Smyrna Speedway. First stop on the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour, back to Green Flag Racing.
Ronnie Silk fires in the restart zone, gets away in that number 16. The battle on for second. And Kennedy to the bottom of the 79. The 24 of Andrew Krause. This is the top 6 or 7. We'll have to keep you updated on how the 3 and the 60 are rolling through the field. They're just outside. Ryan Preece and Matt Hirschman with those fresh tires. You can see them at the top of your frame running the outside lane trying to catch the race leaders.
It appears that the Krause car has a great run on the start or the short run of the event. Krause doing a great job guarding on the outside lane. Michael Christopher there on his back bumper. Meanwhile, Ryan Preece currently setting at the bottom of the top 9 as he works about. Oh, trouble now. It appeared that Hirschman got a little crossed up as a 21 of Jimmy Beluit in the Stephen Kopsick prepared car. The Gershaw recycling machine goes up the hill, and here comes Preece.
And look at the difference. Ryan Preece started on the outside lane. That car got rolling. Matt Hirschman did not. He was on the bottom lane. He's 4 or 5 cars behind Ryan Preece. What a difference from being on the bottom to the outside when that restart took off.
Preece has got a car that sticks to the inside, almost 3 wide, as he now moves to the inside of the number 58 machine, the Riverhead Building Supply GAF car. Rip Kima on the outside, 3 wide. They dive to the bottom. Preece tries to pull off the Timex timely move of the event. It just doesn't work. They cling and they clang down the front straightaway. Rip Kima sideways now. Goes up the hill. Preece goes by. Goodale goes by. And Austin Beers is in the hunt.
Yeah, he did a nice job at saving that race car. Tough to hold on to it when it's that out of shape. Ryan Preece being pretty aggressive here, though. He said it doesn't matter that I'm the NASCAR Cup Series driver. He says, if I want to keep doing this full time, I've got to win races. It doesn't matter what kind of race car I'm in. And he's proven that here tonight. Just outside the top 5, he's on the hunt, trying to pick up more. Kyle Ebersol directly ahead will put him in the top 5.
Here comes Preece again, working his magic there as we look a little further back at the bottom of the top 10. Some great battles going on there as well. Ebersol becomes the next target of Preece, and there is Michael Christopher. We had a good shot just a minute ago of the top 3 in about the same margin between first and second, currently held down by Silk, and John McKennedy, and that third place car, which of course is the number 7 machine, and that of course is Michael Christopher. Here comes Preece again.
The battle
the car,
for the 4th spot.
Yep, to the inside. They touch. They come together. Rouse hits at a ton on the inside wall, and Ryan Preece goes around. What a heartbreaker as the number 24 machine of Andrew Krause, the Supreme Manufacturing car. Robert Heyer. And what a wild chain of events coming off turn number 2.
See, Andrew Krause has dropped the window net hard licked along the inside fence here. The cars have stopped in the banking of turns 3 and 4. Caution flags still being displayed as of now. But all the safety trucks will roll. Andrew Krause moving around. And boy, heartbreak and disappointment for that young man out of Homedale, New Jersey. Had a great run going today, battling inside the top 5. And he was there for a long time. And then contact just racing for that top 5 position, looking for 4th. And they came together, and he went spinning hard into the inside wall.
He certainly did, and you have to give Andrew Krause credit for turning some heads here in this event, because he was strong right from the get-go and right from the start, running lap after lap and never giving up as he's about ready to get out of his race car. What a heartbreaker. We talked about it before, how his family is involved in the promoting of racing, and this was one of his better runs to kick off this 2022 season, and you can see it. Here's a look at it here coming off the turn. Krause is on the top side, Preece and Krause, and there Krause hits at a ton to the inside barrier. Take another look at it, Joe. And Preece came in contact with Krause. The two came together like two cymbals in an orchestra, as the old saying goes. But it was Krause that suffered the worst of the damage. Watch Preece's car as well.
So watch what happens here, Ben, as they came up off turn 4. Priest was down to the bottom. We talked about the open wheel modified racing. Well, they've got those Nerf bars on the left side where the driver's door would be. Watch Priest's car, drifts up the racetrack here, touches that Nerf bar, upset Priest's car, and then when he corrected it, it slid back into the left rear corner of Andrew Krause. And boy, that was a hard lick. Nose first into the inside barrier.
On his teeth. Let's see what's happening on pit road.
Now the 79 is going to come in. John McKennedy will hit his pit stall. He's all the way on the turn 4 end of pit road, so he is in.
Hirschman is in.
Hirschman is in. Now, Hirschman has already been on pit road a couple of times for tires, but the last time he came in, he only took the left front. Now he's taking right side tires, so he still has brand new tires to go on that 60 car.
Certainly does. Now it is the right front being put on. Tire comes over the wall, pass over there. Car is down, and car number 60 makes a very good pit stop, and it looks like just as good is the pit stop is the number 79 machine of John McKennedy. Comes right out in line after the Hirschman car. Then it's the 58 of Goodale, Catalano, and Ripkema.
Really interesting play that time by the 60 of Matt Hirschman. He wins the race off of pit road. That's going to put him in a really good starting spot when we get back under the green flag here in just a few moments. More cars coming in for service, but that is going to be interesting to see how it shakes out. They're going to have new right side tires. They'll put them right up in the top 10, I believe, once this all shakes out. He might have some of the best equipment here as we go towards the end. Remember that one thing early on in the race, the 60 car was good for the first 50 laps or so. And what do we have right now? 55 laps to go. They come back to the line this time.
Sure do. Kyle Bonsignor is down at pit road. And work continues on that team as they are, it looks like, changing the right front. You can see, those of you watching on Flow, look at the front of the race car. The tremendous amount of rubber. These tires are very soft. Hoosier is the official tire of manufacturer and choice of these cars. And you saw it on that car. The entire rear spoiler and the front nose of the car was literally plastered in rubber. Down at pit road again is the number 29 machine of Spencer Davis. They've been on pit road for several occasions.
So the 21 car of Jimmy Blewett will be the free pass. He'll be able to drive around and take up shop at the tail end of the field, get back on the lead lap. So your race leader is the 16 of Ronnie Silk. The 7 New York of Michael Christopher Jr. sits second. Austin Beers, the young man.
What a great run for him in the 3rd position. Then in the 4th position is the number 50 car of Ronnie Williams. Remember how strong he was early in the event. He's come back to life. And then, of course, Ryan Priest is now being shown on the scoreboard in the top 5. So position number 5. And then right there with him is Matt Hirschman, and behind him, the 79.
So it'll be interesting to see that 3rd row when we get back under the green flag. Priest has been running the bottom just about all night. That's where he likes to be, but we saw how Hirschman needed the top to get rolling up in the outside lane. So we'll see how this plays. There is a restart zone off turn number 4 with 2 red lines on the outside wall. That's when the race leader, Ronnie Silk, can fire. But keep in mind, Ronnie Silk has to go first. But he doesn't have to be first to the line, and these restarts matter. And Michael Christopher Jr. is aggressive on restarts.
Certainly is, and that's kind of a little different than what you're used to seeing into play for the 2022 season. Here they come, rumbling off turn number 4. Back to the stripe they come, and it is Silk still in command. Meanwhile, down to the inside, here comes Austin Beers. Right there, tap to the bumper, Ronnie Williams, car number 50. The Empire Financial Group car making a bid for 2nd. Everybody a little loose coming off the turn.
Yeah, among them the 64 of Austin Beers. Relative new driver to the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour. Young driver, son of Eric Beers, who has won championships here at this racetrack. Meanwhile, trouble in the back straightaway. 5, 6, 7, 8. They're still piling in. on a multi-car incident here midway down the back straightaway. 149 laps complete.
Car number 21, Jimmy Blewett, gets away. Ebersol pulls away with his car. The number 55 car of Jeremy Gertzner is involved. Dave Zapienza, car number 36. The 49 car of Chris Young, one of the cars still stranded. And the number 18 machine of Ken Heggie. Strangely enough, it looks so severe, but in reality, everybody, with the exception of one car, was able to pull away. Here we go, Joe. It's time to get up on the wheel as we are about to send the pace car to the infield, and it's showtime for the final laps in this event here from New Smyrna.
It's going to be Ronnie Silk, the race leader, to the outside lane. Michael Christopher, much better on this start. Last time he spun the tires, he's able to keep pace with the 16.
Oh, he drifts up the hill just a bit. Moves up out of line. All of a sudden, here comes Matt Hirschman. We told you before, this guy is as smooth as glass. Matt Hirschman, the BD Motorsports car, quickly moves into the catbird seat, setting in second, while young and talented Michael Christopher out in front. Here comes the 16, Ronnie Silk, to the inside. The Phil Moran prepared race car dives to the bottom. Side-by-side racing there as they work their magic to turn one.
You start to see those older tires start to impact Ronnie Silk. His car got out of shape up off turn number 4, started to slide sideways, and now here he comes into the 4th spot. How about the battle for second? Right now, Matt Hirschman has it in the 60. Got a great launch on that start, but Eric Goodale has been hanging around all night long, is right there in the 3rd position.
Here's a great battle going for the 5th position. Meanwhile, Ronnie Williams, car number 50, the Skavora prepared race car, setting in that 5th spot. Rip Kima on the outside, and it is Craig Lutz with Danny Watts' race car. Nice to see that car running up front. And it's not to be left out of this one at all.
Up front, Matt Hirschman looks to the bottom, trying to take over the top spot. Dominated early from the pole. Now he wants to get to the inside. Christopher up high. Hirschman puts the wheel out ahead.
While that is happening right there, running in his tire tracks to the bottom of the racetrack, here comes Eric Goodale. Riverhead Building Supply, GAF, looking racy. Christopher trying to guard his lane in the upper groove. Here comes Goodale. They're side by side. Here comes Silk. 4 cars under a blanket as they come back to the stripe.
Silk has recovered nicely. These cars had not been able to drive away as he gets a little bit of heat in those tires. Now we start to even close in back on Michael Christopher as Matt Hirschman drives away with the race lead. The battle's for second. Goodale 58 inside. 7 New York. Outside is Michael Christopher Jr.
They work their magic coming off turn number 4 down into turn number 1. Side by side. Here comes Goodale. Inch by inch, he picks up the spot. But Michael Christopher continues to dig in the Florida Connection Stewart's Automotive Machine. Here comes Silk, trying to make some noise to the inside. Can't do it. The door is closed. Goodale is there. And now Silk has the opportunity. But Michael Christopher slams the door rather suddenly.
So Eric Goodale, the highest he has been all day. Meanwhile, a little bit of bumper tag. Silk into the back of the 7 of Christopher. He'll have to settle back in line so far. You see some good side-by-side action just outside the top 5, top of your frame. This is a battle for 6 knots back. 82 inside of the 32. That's Craig Lutz to the bottom of Tyler Ripkema.
And Lutz doing a great job. Ripkema on the outside. Car number 54. What a great run for Tommy Catalano. This guy has been a factor throughout this entire race. The Catalano machine, red 54. Meanwhile, directly in front of him, Craig Lutz still holding on. Rip Kima on the outside. Now Lutz is right there, and here comes Catalano. Then there is 3 more cars contending, and among those 3, it is John McKennedy with that number 79 car, and Ryan Priest in the number 3 car. There's a bid. On the outside, Rip Kima, as Lutz is right there. Oh, they touch off the turn. Gather it back.
Boy, a lap ago, Catalano thought about taking it 3 wide off turn number 2. He thought better of it, slid back in line, but I think that's going to cost him a little bit as he now slides back to the clutches of John McKennedy. I think for the first time all night, we started seeing some brake rotors glowing. McKennedy's car using a lot of brake getting into the corner. You can see that orange glow starting to develop from the front of the 79.
It is off the left front rotor of the number 79 machine as he continues to hold his own in the upper groove. Meanwhile, Catalano still right there, that red number 54 car, as those three cars run nose to tail. Left of your screen, there is the number 7 in a bid for second, and third, and there is the 16 of Silk. Silk can reel him in, but not enough to be able to move on by.
We are inside of now 28 laps to go. This is the battle for third. Michael Christopher Jr., Ronnie Silk up front, though. Things starting to tighten up for the battle for the lead. Matt Hirschman out in front, but Eric Goodale might be a little bit quicker right now.
Meanwhile, just out of the top 5, good battle going on as Tyler Ripkema picks up the spot. Ronnie Williams drops back 1 in the Empire Financial Group machine. And here comes Craig Lutz, the orange Watts number 82 car. Directly behind him, John McKennedy, still trying to make up some valuable ground. And Catalana, who has never been out of the thick of things here. This time, when they come back to the stripe, 25 laps to go.
So Lutz will slide underneath Ronnie Williams. That'll put him in the 6th spot. Here comes John McKennedy trying to move into 7th as they come up off the turn. 24 to go this time through for the race leader, Matt Hirschman, who's in command. He's got a 5-car length lead over Eric Goodale, who's starting to hunt and starting to close in.
You know, we should mention also that Matt Hirschman's times when he led at the start of this event are now quicker as we are in the, less than 25 laps to go. So his strategy, pit strategy, was the story for that team. Will it totally pay off? There comes Catalano again, gets around the Williams car, and Patrick Emmerling, car number 07, also working its magic in the bottom of the top 10.
Emmerling had a nice way to recover. Wasn't as fast early on in the race. Continuing to watch this battle here between Craig Lutz, who's running in 6th, and John McKennedy right behind in 7th. Up ahead, Ripkema had to go all the way to the inside lane underneath that yellow line off turn 4, using the apron to get that car to turn. Try to navigate around Dylan Sleppy into the lap car, the 70 machine.
The Sleppian car was out of harm's way now. Meanwhile, back up front, Goodale continues to try to close in on the back bumper of Matt Hirschman. The gap and timing and scoring shows the difference between first and second. Goodale will close things up as he comes off the turn, but on entry, it appears that Matt Hirschman has a slight advantage here.
Eric Goodale, when he wins his races, the first race he won, the fall final at the Stafford Speedway, he did it on a late race run trying to get ahead of Ryan Preece. It looked a lot like this race does tonight. He started chipping away. He didn't have the best car all day, but at the end, he was there, and this is starting to feel a lot like that.
Sure is. The Goodale family have won the Evans Memorial 100 laps events here before here at New Smyrna, so they know this racetrack and they know how to set up for the distance. And that's, I think, a perfect example of what we're seeing now. Look a little further back. The Watts car, the orange number 82 machine, is being pressured heavily by the number 54 of Catalano. There's the distance between the 7th, your third place car, and the number 16 of Ronnie Silk. Ripkema, about the same margin, just about half a car length. There's the bid. Here comes John McKennedy. McKennedy moves down underneath Craig Lutz. Will the story be? Is there enough time for him to make his way to the front as the clock is ticking 184 up on the board?
So McKennedy still battling for 6th there, along with the 82 of Craig Lutz. Left side of your screen, 70 York, that's third on back. Here's McKennedy in Lutz, battling for 6th and 7th.
Once McKennedy was able to get around the Lutz machine, he's starting to string it out just a bit. There is the number 7 car, our third place car of Michael Christopher and Ronnie Silk. Right there in striking distance. And what about the number 32 of Tyler Ripkema? What a great run for this young talented driver. Started in the 12th position.
And he's been up there all day.
He has. He has never not been a factor at all, and it's not over with by any stretch of the imagination. Ronnie Silk's car loosened up a bit on the last circuit coming off from turn number 2. Here comes Ripkema trying to get a run for it. And can't do it. Silk's car getting a little bit loose. And here comes Ripkema.
So on the left side of your screen, race leader Matt Hirschman will come to 10 to go this time by. He's in heavy lap traffic. Ken Havey right ahead. There you see the 58 of Eric Goodale directly behind, starting to close in. So far, Hirschman has been able to get through traffic a little bit more efficiently. He's been able to open up that advantage that he's had over Goodale. But Goodale, when they get to clean racetrack, is able to close back in on him.
Certainly is. And now look to your right of your screen. There is Ripkema again, closed in on Ronnie Silk, running right there in his tire tracks. And then directly behind them and moving forward is the number 79, of course, of John McKennedy. Here comes Ripkema. They touch. Ripkema moves to the inside. Tyler Ripkema to the right of your screen. Moves in. Car number 32 is coming to the front, and here comes John McKennedy. McKennedy goes around the number 16 machine, and John McKennedy has now broken into the top 4.
So McKennedy working his way forward, was up front a lot of the day, running 5th. Up front, Hirschman will come around, 6 laps to go, and Eric Goodale within striking distance. He's got clean racetrack ahead for the next 2 or 3 laps, and Goodale's going to have to use all of it to try to close that gap in on the 60 of Hirschman.
Let's take a look a little further back in that 3rd and 4th position, see what's happening there, because all of a sudden, as our 1st and 2nd place cars are pulling away of Hirschman and Goodale, there is still a good battle going on between the number 7 of Michael Christopher and the number 32 of Tyler Ripkema.
Hirschman comes around this time by, 4 laps to go, was able to gap Eric Goodale a little bit, but just ahead, some of the lap cars are running not single file, but 2 wide. They're midway down the back straightaway. They may become a factor before Hirschman comes back around. 3 to go this time by. Advantage is getting bigger for the 60.
It certainly is. He planned his strategy well. It worked to perfection. He knows this track, and he'll even tell you it's one of his favorite tracks to compete on. 197 has just clicked off. And just as you called it, Joe, here comes our leader up on lap traffic. Comes up on the Kimball kid in his first outing here in the Whelen Modified Tour with car number 59 from Bennington, New Hampshire.
Final time around this time, Matt Hirschman comes across the line. 1 to go for Hirschman. He'll come to lap 200 this time by. Did not see the white flag wave from the flag stand, but the scoreboard showing 1 to go. Now the white flag is out. Hirschman up off turn number 4, looking for the checkered flag and the win to open the 2022 campaign. Matt Hirschman wins in New Smyrna.
Matt Hirschman goes into the record books. Another story of success. 200 circuits for the NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour in its inaugural event, and it is the BD Motorsports machine. Car number 60, the early leader of the event, and the man that dominated the racing action to the checker. Unofficially in second, great run for Eric Goodale in the GAF car, the Riverhead Building Supply car. And what about Michael Christopher? The Stewart's Automotive Florida Connection machine will finish unofficially in the 3rd spot. John McKennedy ran up front all day long. He will end up in the 4th position, and Tyler Ripkema will unofficially round out the top 5. But there is your winner. car number 60, heading to the winner's circle, a very familiar sight here at the new Smyrna Speedway. A champion of champions of sorts, and his car will set in victory lane.
The Hirschman family is so well known in modified racing. His dad, Tony Hirschman, 5-time NASCAR Whelen Modified Tour champion. This will be the 5th win for Matt Hirschman. I mean, they call him Big Money Matt, but he doesn't run a lot of races on the Whelen Modified Tour. But when he comes, he's going to be competitive. And here he is winning in New Smyrna. No surprise with his talent, his success here. He's already got 2 championships here at this racetrack during the World Series of stock car racing here in New Smyrna. To see him in victory lane, certainly not a surprise. And, for this entire family, Tony Hirschman, his brother, spotted for him here tonight. Of course, mentioned earlier in the broadcast, he's the spotter for Kyle Busch in the NASCAR Cup Series. This is racing pedigree in the Hirschman family, especially in Pennsylvania, northeastern United States, and they have got it done here tonight. And familiar place for them, victory lane at New Smyrna Speedway.
About ready to take off the helmet. He'll be getting out of the race car. Congratulations going to him on a job well done. And again, the Whelen Modified Tour victory lane. Whelen lights are flashing atop the car. And in just a moment, we'll be heading down to the winner's circle to meet and greet our winner. And what a great job and a great run. There's always a buzz in the paddock area about the fact that Matt Hirschman and the Hirschman family are able to get the most out of their race car, and they don't use a lot of the bells and whistles, the high technology, the big custom shocks, and all the things that make the magic. They found their own magic, and that magic has put them in the winner's circle to take home many a big victory. And this one will be added to the list of impressive victories as well.
Matt Hirschman drove a very good race. They came down pit road 4 times, pitted more than anybody else, used strategy to their advantage, and were able to get to victory lane here tonight. Matt Hirschman, well-deserved. It was a very quiet, reserved day for him. Won the pole, led early, fell back, found a way, put all the pieces together at the end of the day to be able to win this New Smyrna Visitors Bureau 200, the season opener, the first Whelen Modified Tour race ever held here at this racetrack. And Matt Hirschman, the favorite coming in, is a favorite at the end of the day as he'll cash in, winning that trophy to kick off the season.
No question about it. It won't be the last event to be held here for the Whelen Modified Tour, as the crowd came out in full force. And ladies and gentlemen, we direct your attention. Matt Hirschman is getting out of the automobile.
Let's go down to victory lane and Jesse Punt.
You guys said it. No stranger to victory lane here at New Smyrna Speedway. Matt Hirschman is your winner of the inaugural Whelen Modified Tour race here tonight at this track, Matt. I'm going to give you a FloRacing hat. Congratulations, my friend. You are very familiar with not only this track, but this victory lane, but to now be here following this inaugural Whelen Modified event. What does this mean to you?
Yeah, I mean, it means a lot. I never made it to Daytona or the Daytona 500, but coming down here to be a part of Speed Weeks and win races, and this being the first time the Whelen Modifieds are ever here, it just means a lot. It's a lot of work. I appreciate all the effort by the PD Motorsports team, and we got a lot of work ahead of us yet this week. A lot of racing to go, which I'm really looking forward to again being here. It's just of all the things we've done with this team, and this is our 6th year, and we've won, all their races, wheeling races, north-south shootouts, tri-track races, all. Coming to Florida has been the most enjoyable thing that I've done with these guys and this team, and like I said, it just, you feel like you made it when you come down here and you win a big race. Like I said, I never made it to Daytona, but this is huge for me. I'm really proud of everybody, and myself included, that we've been able to accomplish so much down here. It's awesome.
Now, it was pit strategy that put you in that position to get the win, and ultimately that decision-making, I would believe, came from your understanding of this track. How much of that was of your thought process there?
Yeah, I mean, it was my call. You know, I'm not taking any credit away from anybody else, but we talked about it a little bit, and I made the call to let's put them on now. And you know, if a perfect caution came for someone at the end and you get beat by that, that's racing. So I'm not really. You know, you can't be too upset about that if it happens. It happened before. We lost the race at Beach Ridge last year. Probably just not the right strategy, not taking anything away from the person that won because they earned it. But you can just, you know, make or break you on a decision. And, you know, I think we made the right ones tonight. So, like I said, just cool to be down here, FloRacing. Packed house here, sold out crowd. This is awesome. I've been watching racing all week on Flo and others. You know, I've watched sprint cars, dirt modifieds, dirt late models. I've been watching all kinds of stuff. And now to be a headline maker here tonight at New Smyrna is this is cool. Like I said, we'll just try and keep it up and win some more races this week.
Well, you started on a good note. Matt Hirschman, congratulations on the win tonight.
Thanks. I also want to say hi to my dad at home. My rest of my family's here. So appreciate you know, him, what he does for us as well, and everybody watching. I know there's a lot of people in the Northeast, Pennsylvania, and the Northeast in general that are proud of this win, and it's awesome. Thank you.
A lot of pride down here in Victory Lane tonight, guys, as Matt Hirschman is your winner in the inaugural Whelen Modified race here at New Smyrna Speedway.